What up? What up? What up? Daniel Augustin here. I'm going to break down the Clemson, Texas first round college football playoff game. Finally, one of these games were competitive. And it was a joy to watch. Texas gets the dub, 38-24. Now listen, a lot of people have been talking about how, they don't think that it's that advantageous to be one of these teams that have a first round bye. Look, man, Texas won this game because of their run game. Their starting running back had to exit the game because he got hurt. So now it's a matter of will he, won't he, when it comes to next week. Probably will, but now it's a matter of how well can he. Health matters. The entire season is a war of attrition. So to be able to make it from the beginning to the end and finish is huge. That's a skill set all on its own, to be able to avoid injury. But nobody is really even talking about that. Everybody just keeps talking about how Oregon got screwed. Oregon got screwed. Well, who's Oregon going to play? When Oregon plays that team, is that team going to be healthy? Does that team have the same kind of chemistry as Oregon? Let's stop all this. Let's cut all that out. I understand the reseeding could have did this, that, and the third, but one of the issues that I have, one of the biggest issues, I'm going to break down the game, but one of the biggest issues that I have with everybody that keeps talking about the playoffs as a whole is talking about how the seeding is such an issue. But you can't even quantify who the hell is in that seed. Because, look at the fact that Alabama is all the way at 13, but Alabama would have given Penn State more problems than SMU did, and Alabama would have damn sure gave Notre Dame more problems than Indiana did. But they all the way back at, say, 13, 14. I think Miami's at 14, Ole Miss was at 15. Didn't nobody want to see those three teams right there that I just mentioned. But they're 13, 14, 15. So the whole let's put them based on their ranking and where that doesn't work either. Because you can mess around and get a team that was just ranked second in the nation but lost one or two games in a row and now they're ranked 12th. And now you're going to play that team and they just got their shit together. Either way, listen. Good game for both teams. I'm actually really, really upset that I will not get to watch Cade Klubniks play throughout the rest of these playoffs. Because, man, he was playing very good football. He was the best quarterback out on that field today. And I'll tell you this much. Quinn Ewers is being carried by this Texas football team. He's being asked to manage the ball game. I just listened to the break to Steve Sarkisian at the end of the game, and they were interviewing him. And by the way, there's like this black woman, this African-American woman who she's always in his interviews. She's like standing behind him, like 3 steps behind him. I don't know who she is, but she like makes it a point to be in the eye line of the camera. She's very distracting. I'm thinking that might be his spouse or something, or his security guard or something, because she's constantly in the shot. It's random, but like, get the hell out the shot. Get the hell out the shot. Over here trying to watch the game, and here you are. Just anyways, when I heard Steve Sarkisian at the end of the game, he's talking about Quinn Ewers, got an unlucky break with the interception that he did have, and but he did a great job of managing the game, and that's what they're asking him to do: manage the game. Texas just wants him to hit a couple throws when they need him to hit a couple throws. They're not asking him to be a first-round type of quarterback. I think that's important for every scout to pay attention to. I think it's part of the reason why Quinn is trying to come back next season potentially, and he should. I think he really needs to find his game. I think he needs to find who he is as a quarterback from start to finish. And it will be, I think, helpful for his draft stock if he left Texas, because Texas is carrying him. How good they are on defense has been carrying him on offense. It's a shame that guys like Cam Ward didn't have a defense like what Texas got, because it's Texas's defense that has carried Quinn Ewers all the way through to now the second round of the playoffs. And it's sad that there are certain players that are just so much better than their team's record. And that you see that most at the quarterback position, but it happens often at the running back position and wide receiver position. But when you see it at the quarterback position is when it's the hardest to digest, because it's like, this guy's so good. What's going on? The Hurricanes, they're the main example that I got here, the best example. I'll take Cam Ward over Jalen Milroe, because Jalen, I need to see more consistency in the short pass game and the intermediate pass game. I know he can throw the ball far as hell, but now I need you to be able to extend drives, and that's something I see I can get out of Cam Ward. I can get a 7-minute drive out of Cam Ward. I know he can also hit a deep one. And I know he's looking for it. He's checking for it. But nevertheless, I didn't start this off to be talking about Miami. I got into talking about Miami and Alabama because we've been watching such bad football throughout the first 2 out of 3 games. This was a good game. Clemson really did compete. It's unfortunate this game wasn't closer at the end, but it was closer than the score would actually suggest. Listen, I'll read down just some of the stats that I think matter because these are just some of the stats that I think matter, but I'll tell you why. Total yards, look, Clemson, 412, Texas, 494. We're right there. We neck and neck, right? Passing yards, Clemson, 336, Texas, 202. That tells you everything you need to know. Granted, Texas didn't have to throw the ball like that, but it lets you know what Cade was up to. Rushing yards, this also tells you what you need to know. Texas 76, Clemson 76, Texas 292. I mean, Texas ran the hell out the ball. They exploded in the second quarter for 3 scores, and it was looking like it was about to be a straight-up blowout. I think it was 28-7 at the time. You can't win if the other team is running the ball like that. You're not going to win. Okay, Texas had 26 first downs to Clemson's 20. Texas was 50% on third down, 6 out of 12. Clemson, 3 out of 12. What are we doing? You feel me? Texas with 72 total plays to Clemson's 67. Clemson punted 4 times. Texas punted only once. And you had a turnover by each team, but Texas won the time of possession battle with 33 minutes to Clemson's 27. I mean, look, when you break it down like this and you see that Texas was able to control the ball, control the game on the ground, I mean, Jaden Blue with 146 rushing yards on 14. Dog, that's ridiculous. Those are video game stats, okay? He averaged 10 yards a touch. 2 tutties. Wisner, 110 yards on 15 carries. So despite him going out of the game early, he still had more carries. Less yards, more carries, still had 2 tutties. He averaged 7 a touch. And I want to touch on something with Arch Manning in a second here. I just want to say, when you see games like this from Texas, you start to fall in love again. You start to fall in love and think that they caught their stride and this is the team that we expected to see. Yeah, but this is the team we expected to see, and we're seeing them against Clemson. This is the same Clemson team. They're better now, but this is the same Clemson team that got spanked by Georgia at the beginning of the season. Georgia's the same team we watched struggle the entire season. So to see Texas be in a dogfight with Clemson, it lets you know where Texas truly is. Texas is not ready to be as good as they are slated as being. They have all of the ingredients, but they're busy messing around with Quinn Ewers at quarterback. I'm not saying the man is a bad quarterback, but he's a game manager, and this team has explosive pieces at wide receiver. So if you can't throw those guys open, if you're instead kind of just the type of quarterback that when they're open, and you're going to float passes over to them because that's your style of play, now that means the passing game is going to lack tremendously. I mean, with the type of wide receivers that they have over here at Texas, they don't have no, Julio Jones or whatever, but neither does Miami. Neither did the Miami Hurricanes, and Cam Ward had 4,000 passing yards. Syracuse didn't have it either, and why is his name slipping me right now? Kyle Cannon. I don't know why his name's slipping me right now. I actually really like his game too. Left Ohio State just season, had about 4,000 yards as well. I think he did have yards. All the while, Quinn Ewers has been at like a pedestrian close to 3,000, not even 3,000, if I'm not mistaken. Don't have it up in front of me right now, but that's off of memory, and that's off of watching him play. He's been slightly better than average, and he's been able to have the type of passing game that he's been able to have because of the fact that they're running the ball so well. So you got to respect the run. 2 running backs. This is against Clemson. This is against the ACC champion. And now the 2 running backs that they're going up against on 29 carries have 256 yards, average well over 8 per touch, 4 touchdowns on the ground. What do you really need Quinn Ewers to do? He threw the ball 17 to 24 times, 202 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 INT. The way Quinn Ewers is being used, in my opinion, is actually the way I think Carson Beck should have been playing. That's the way he should have been schemed the whole season. It's got to go through the running backs. Has to go through the running backs. That has to be the identity. And then we'll go to the wide receivers. And then when we play against a team that's just like, no, we're not going for all that on the ground. All right, cool. Let it rip. Because, they got 8 in the box, 7 in the box. Let it rip. Now it's time to put the wide receivers to use and really just get to throwing the ball. But one of the last things I wanted to say, Arch Manning. I'm so sick of seeing Steve Sarkisian use Arch Manning like he's some kind of power back. Bro, he's still a quarterback, bro. He's still a quarterback, bro. And you trying to just jam him down the defense's throat on like power quarterback. What the fuck are you doing? Are you trying to get that man hurt? Scheme him properly. Scheme him properly, bro. Because you just out here just hoping that the guy who's fast can get you some yards. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Honestly, with what he's doing with Arch, you better off just putting one of your running backs back there and just snap it to your back. Snap it to your back and let your back run the power from the quarterback position. Let the defense kind of be on their heels thinking maybe it's a jump pass or something. What the hell are you doing? What are you doing? Trying to jam Arch Manning down the defense's throat. Like, that's just really what you need to be doing. Scheme him. Scheme it. Don't just jam this man down the middle of the defense because you don't want to mess around and have him get hurt. Because I'm telling you, that's the end of it for Texas. The only way Texas wins the title this season is if something happens to Quinn Ewers, whether that be he plays bad and gets pulled or he gets hurt and is replaced. And Arch Manning has to step in, and Arch Manning is able to throw the ball down the field because there's going to come a time where Texas is going to play somebody that's going to sell out against the run, and they're going to say, beat us in the passing game because you ain't did it all season. Not really. Beat us in the passing game, and then we'll accept this L. So next, Texas got Arizona State. Winner of that plays, if I'm not mistaken, that's the winner who plays, not Oregon. That's the winner who, not Boise. Who had the bye? Who had the bye? Off the top. It's not Big Ten. Okay. It's Arizona State, and then the winner of the Arizona State game. Oh, I'm tripping. The winner of the Arizona State game will play Oregon. Oregon plays the winner of Tennessee, Ohio State, straight up off the rip. Got it. Cool. So, Arizona State. I mean, look, off the rip. And before I even get to that, my bad. I just want to say Clemson had a strong season, stronger than you would expect, especially when they really did not attack the portal. They did not have the biggest, best recruiting class year. So you really got to give it up, Clemson. A lot of resolve. They started off the year with Georgia just right off the bat. So, even though they did get into a stretch where they weren't playing nobody, why the hell you booking Georgia? You booking Georgia because, you got faith in this program and so on and so forth. And it wasn't a good game for them, but it was a great game for college football just for the simple fact that college football was going to start off with powerhouse versus powerhouse. And you really got to appreciate just seeing two teams that just got all this lore really going up against each other. Now, I'm going to get into just a pre-prediction. Me personally, Texas and Arizona State. I do think Texas has everything they need to slow down Cam Scatterboo. I say that because they gang tackle, they swarm. It's not going to be one-on-one. And even if it was, I do think Texas coming up to tackle Cam is totally different than Texas Tech coming up to tackle Cam Scatterboo. Arizona trying to tackle Cam Scatterboo. BYU trying to tackle Cam Scatterboo. That's a different type of size that's going to be trying to hit him. Different type of experiences because they done been practicing against other 4-star, 5-star players at practice. Different conference, different weight class. I do think Texas slows down Scatterboo a tad bit. Okay, I think Texas can slow them down to where Scatterboo may end up having, say, only 100 yards. If Arizona State is really able to make this a game, it's going to have to be a lot like what Clemson did today. And genuinely, Levitt is going to have to go off. Klubnik threw the ball 43 times today. 43 times he threw the ball, 336 yards in the air, 3 tutties. If Sam is allowed to, if Sam is going to have to throw the ball like that, I do believe Sam Levitt's got what it takes. I don't know if his O-line is going to be able to really challenge Texas's D-line, though. And the fact that I'm saying I don't know is a problem. That lets you know off the rip that it is a problem. And they're without Jordan Tyson. They did have another wide receiver step up last week. His name slips me right now off the top of my head. Guy who kept doing something like this as his touchdown celebration, because I think that had something to do with like his culture, his background, his ethnicity, or something like that. But I think Arizona State is going to be low-key in trouble when it comes down to moving the ball down the field consistently, because they're without one of their best guys. And I think they need both of their best wide receivers so that they can spread the ball around the field and Sam can kind of have his choosing. But I do expect Sam to ball. I'm going to go ahead and just go with Texas right now, just off the rip. And I think Texas needs these games against these top teams in the playoffs, because I think Texas needs to get their confidence back up. Texas needs to find themselves, but they need not fool themselves. And that's what Texas has been doing, because every single time Texas has lost this season, they lost to Georgia. And every time they lost to Georgia, they weren't able to run the ball, and they weren't able to protect. They were protecting Quinn Ewers better in that second game, but he still got sacked a boatload, almost 5 times if I'm not mistaken. And they struggled to run the ball. When they can't run the ball, now you leave it in Quinn's hands, and now you're going to really find out about this man. He's not Cam Ward. He's not some guy that's just going to hold it, oh, get off me, make somebody miss, and make a play and move the chains. And when that happens and you're playing against another team that can mess around and score, well, then you fall behind. Now you don't have the margin of error that you had before, and now you got to get a score. And now it's trouble, because now Quinn Ewers is pressing. And Quinn Ewers, when he's pressing, the passes don't really get there. That's one thing I saw tonight with Cade Klubniks. I mean, he was throwing dimes. He was fun to watch. I would have loved to have continued to watch him playing through the rest of the playoffs. I would not really have wanted to watch Clemson, just to be honest, but I would have loved to have watched Cade Klubniks continue to play. I hope he comes back next season, because I think next season could be a huge year for him. I think they brought in 2 6'5" guys in the portal at wide receiver. So I think they have an idea of what they're looking for as far as Clemson goes. They had a very strong defense. They played pretty well, really, when it came down to it, but couldn't stop the run worth a damn. So hard to say they played well on defense, but, you know, Texas really dominated on the ground. They dominated. That's what they did. They did that better than Clemson could stop them, and, you know, this is the end result. So listen, Texas gets the dub, moves on. Texas, Arizona State. It'll be a good one. It'll be a damn good one. I'm really excited about it. But I do think it's going to end up being a lot like the same game that we just saw tonight, just to keep it G. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this. I want to really catch up with this Tennessee-Ohio State game. I'm excited because I do think these last 2 games of the college football playoff first round is going to be competitive, so I'm happy about that. If you got to this part of the video, though, listen, man, shouts to you, man. You are a real one. I ain't even going to lie. You are a real one. And you are why, you know, I am doing this, because you are feeding life into what I'm doing, and I appreciate that. But if you messed around and decided to subscribe, the appreciation I would have for you just tenfold. You dig? All right, y'all. Hope y'all enjoy the rest of the night. Peace.